How's it going, everyone? It's Javi from Weather SpongeBob. Today is March 28th, 2021 on a Sunday, and I hope you guys are having a good day. As today, we're obviously going to talk about the major severe weather threat that's currently impacting the Southeast as well as the Mid-Atlantic states, and we'll also talk about the next potential snowstorm that could impact the Northeast later this week. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather content. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather content. So let's begin by taking a look at the more long-term storm that could impact the Northeast. We're going to first take a look at this next potential snowstorm that could impact the East Coast. So let's begin by taking a look at the European computer model, because the forecast the European model is leaning towards is very concerning for the Northeast, because it does bring quite a formidable snowstorm along the Northeast, and some of you might already be fed up with the winter already and want spring to come, or maybe you want that one last big snowstorm to come just before the spring and summer months hit, and we could see that headed into later this week, where there's going to be a pretty big jet stream dip that's going to move through the United States, and because of this jet stream dip, we're going to see the air molecules become buoyant in this region as a result of the denser air molecules associated with this cold parcel move into the very warm and less dense air, and as a result, it's going to force the water vapor up and then create a pretty formidable low pressure system along the eastern half of the United States. And snow might not be the only worry with this next trough. We could also see a heavy rain threat associated with this, and this is definitely a concern, especially when it comes to heavy rain, because with the storm we're experiencing right now, the major severe weather threat and rain threat for a lot of Northeast, it's bringing a lot of rain throughout the eastern half of the United States, and to bring that on and to bring another storm on top of the rain we're already experiencing right now is just is concerning, especially for those who live by a river that's already pretty high or close to overtopping its banks. So we definitely don't want to see another major rainstorm come out of this, but it's seeming increasingly likely by how much unstable air is going to be located in this region, where I do expect at least some sort of thunderstorm or pretty big rain activity throughout the southeast, and especially more in the northeast, where we're going to see more condensation occur. If we move forward with the forecast, you see the rain extends further in the northeast, and a low pressure system rapidly intensifies as a result of how much unstable air there is. There's going to be the temperatures obviously right around the Atlantic are going to be much warmer than the air temperature that's just so west of it, because you see the snow in the interior portions of the Northeast. Obviously, when we see snow, it's at least around 32 or 35 at the max and lower. So when we're combining 30-degree temperature air parcel and probably less even further westward, interacting with the very warm Atlantic water temperatures, which is raising the air temperatures along the surface, I'd say right around 50 degrees, then that's just going to create a very unstable environment in this region for this low pressure to rapidly develop, and it could bring heavy rain all across New England and Northeast. So even if you're not going to get impacted by snow, heavy rain could still be the issue with this exo pressure system, and there's still certainly that possibility this could be a major snow event for some areas in the Northeast, where we do see a pretty large area of snow extending through Pennsylvania and into New York, and then headed even further, you see the snow extends to some portions of New England, such as Vermont, upstate New York's very well involved, and even portions of New Jersey and just outside of New York City metropolitan area. So this is going to be a close forecast to watch for you guys, really depending on where exactly that low pressure system moves. If it moves a little bit more southward, then there might be more of a chance that New York City experiences snow, and also Philadelphia. However, if it takes a turn a little bit more northward, then it's less likely that New York City and places further south will experience snow from this, because obviously the low pressure system is going to bring strong southerly winds, and if it moves more northward, then the southerly winds will also move further northward, the same southerly winds bringing the warm air further northward. So as a result, the warmer air will move further northward, which will prevent a lot of the cities right around New York City and even closer along the East Coast, like Boston, from getting any sort of snowfall. So we just have to wait and see. It also really depends on the lapse rate when it comes to temperature and humidity, because it's definitely important, especially when the snow is occurring behind the cold front, because you typically don't see, when it comes to a low pressure system during the winter or any time in the season, it's untypical to see snow behind a cold front, because typically the air is too dry. But in this scenario, it's one of those, I wouldn't say rare, because it does happen from time to time, but it's one of those less frequent moments where the snow will be behind that cold front. So the dry air, the humidity will also be another factor we need to keep a close eye on. The dew points, the relative humidity, and to determine whether or not this will be a major snowstorm. While the European model is more lenient on being a major snowstorm, which is a slightly more reliable model compared to the GFS, the GFS model is disagreeing with it, as it expects not much of a big snowstorm at all. Maybe, as you see, if we move forward, you see that big jet stream dip going to induce a lot of instability and convection on the throughout the eastern half of the United States. But if we move forward, you see that there isn't as much snow, I'd say, in, let's say, western Pennsylvania and a lot of upstate New York, as much as a European model, where let's compare the two 96 hours at the 96 hour point, and you see 96 hours, the European is moving a little bit. This is 96 hours, and you see the European model is slightly more slow. We're bringing this storm further up northward, but you see that eventually it does bring a lot of snow to western Pennsylvania and upstate New York, but the GFS model does not agree with it, as it brings most of the heavy snow in the interior portions of New England and maybe portions of upstate New York, but I wouldn't say it's impacting as many people as a European model, but it's still at least bringing snow in the Northeast, and the computer models have been persisting on that fact. So it seems it's becoming increasingly likely we will experience at least some sort of snow in the Northeast. I don't think although we're still 4 days out, I don't think there's going to be a forecast that's going to change just drastically to a point where no state in the Northeast experiences snow. I think there will be at least some places that will experience snow. The questions will obviously be where exactly, because I still think there is that possibility it could affect the more populated sectors of the Northeast, maybe the coastal regions of the Northeast like Boston, Hartford, Connecticut, New York City, Philadelphia. Maybe they could get impacted with some snow depending on the trajectory of the storm, and also the amount of cold air that's going to be behind this low pressure system. So we need to keep a close eye on that over the next several days, and it really all depends on this jet stream dip, how strong jet stream is, because it really determines how fast this storm will move up northward. If the storm is a little bit stronger and the jet stream dip is a little bit stronger, then it's more likely to take the more northward track, and while it will be stronger, it'll mainly bring snow to more of the interior Northeast. However, I'd say if the jet stream dip is a little weaker and so is the storm, then it's more likely that the storm will slowly move to the north rather than directly move to the north. So while the storm will be weaker, it still could bring a little bit more snow to the Northeast as a result. As a result of the lack of jet stream dip. So we just need to really wait and see what's going to happen over the next several days with this next snowstorm, but just at least be aware of it in the Northeast, especially in the interior Northeast, where I'd say it's going to be more likely than not you will experience snow from this, especially in the extreme northern portion of the Northeast. But the question still remains for those further south, especially along the coast. While the forecast has been mainly persisting on making it an all-rain event for the coastal regions, you certainly do not want to completely rule out the chance of some snow in those regions, so keep a close eye on that. But now let's talk about the current severe weather that's impacting us right now, and it's bringing a lot of heavy rain. And unfortunately, it's concerning when it comes to flash flooding as well. Because if we take a look at the current radar, by the way, this is being recorded around 3:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So by the time we're watching this video, the rain will probably be further eastward, but you see that there's just a large area of rain where Tupelo, Mississippi the thunderstorms are pretty much right at your doorstep, and many areas of Mississippi are getting impacted by just very severe weather at this point. You see Nashville, Tennessee. While the worst of the squall line has passed, you guys are still experiencing heavy rain. So is Bowling Green, and now thunderstorm activity is extending further northwards, where West Virginia is now getting involved in some thunderstorm activity. While I wouldn't say these are severe for the most part, it's still very heavy rain. But let's take a look at the radar by the time you guys are watching this video, which will be right around 1 p.m. And by 1 p.m., the good news is that most of thunderstorm activity should be gone. However, I'd say later on Sunday, there could be that chance of an isolated severe thunderstorm on the backside of this, where the cold front eventually moves through. However, it won't be anywhere as near as severe as what the Southeast is experiencing right now, which is definitely good news, as I think the meat and potatoes when it comes to the severe weather will happen primarily Sunday morning, where it's going to impact a lot of other areas in the Northeast. So you see that thunderstorm activity moves through New Jersey, while further northward, the chances of severe weather are are slightly lower. There's still certainly that possibility, so watch out if you're along New Jersey, New York City, and along New England as well, because not only severe weather will be a problem, but flash flooding could certainly be the issue, because we're going to see a lot of heavy thunderstorms move through your area, and it's going to dump rain at a very fast rate. So keep that in mind, that there could be a chance of a flash flooding threat come Sunday morning for a lot of you guys. So keep a close eye on that. But outside of that, we should mainly be good for a lot of the United States when it comes to this next when it comes to the severe weather threat. But this chance of severe weather is still high for a lot of you guys. You see that in the orange or in an enhanced risk right around Norfolk, Virginia, and Richmond is now involved. And taking a look at the map, you see a moderate chance of severe weather in the oranges and the yellow. So New York City, Philadelphia could get involved in some severe weather, and we do see just outside of it, a minimal chance of severe weather, as instability is a little less in those regions, as the main threat I'd say would be damaging winds and maybe an isolated tornado here and there. But for the most part, damaging winds will be the issue, maybe some hail in isolated spots as well, but damaging winds will be the most likely threat that will be associated with these thunderstorms. So keep a close eye on that. But anyways, guys, I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. And I hope you guys have a good day.